Clymene by Paul Verlaine. Musical strains unheard, a song without a word, dearest, because thine eyes pale as the skies, because thy voice remote as the far clouds that float, veiling for me the whole heaven of the soul, because the stately skin of thy swan's whiteness blend with the white lily's bloom of thy perfume, because thy dear love, the music bereft above by angels, halo-crowned odor and sweet, hath in my subtle heart with some mysterious art transposed by harmony, so let it be. A frail hand in the rose-grey evening by Paul Verlaine. A frail hand in the rose-grey evening kisses the shining keys that hardly stir, while with the light small flutter of a wing, an old song, like an old tired wanderer, goes very softly, as if trembling, about the room long redolent of her. What lullaby is this that comes again to dandle my poor being with its breath? What wouldst thou have of me, gay laughing strain? What hadst thou, desultory faint refrain, that now into the garden to thy death floatest through the half-opened window-pane? La Promenade by Paul Verlaine. The sky so pale, and the trees such frail things, seem as if smiling on our bright array that flits so light and gay upon the way, with indolent airs and fluttering as of wings. The fountain wrinkles under a faint wind, and all the sifted sunlight falling through the lime trees of a shadowy avenue comes to us blue and shadowy, pale and faint, faultlessly fickle and yet fond enough, with fond hearts not too tender to be free. We wander whispering deliciously, and every lover leads a lady love, whose imperceptible and raggish hand darts now and then a dainty tap, the lip revenges on an extreme finger-tip, the tip of the left little finger, and, the deed being so excessive and uncouth, a duly freezing look deals punishment that in the instant of the act is blent with a shy pity pouting in the mouth. Art Poetique by Paul Verlaine. Music first and foremost of all. Choose your measure of odd, not even. Let it melt in the air of heaven. Pause not, poise not, but rise and fall. Choose your words, but think not whether each to other of old belong. What so dear as the dim grey song, where clear and vague are joined together? 'Tis veils of beauty for beautiful eyes, 'tis the rambling light of the naked noon, 'tis a melody of blue and gold, the moon and stars in the cold of autumn skies. Let every shape of its shade be born, color away, come to me shade, only of shade can the marriage be made, of dream with dream and of flute with horn. Shun the point, lest death with it come, unholy laughter and cruel wit, for the eyes of the angels weep at it, and all the garbage of scullery scum. Take eloquence and wring the neck of him You had better, by force, from time to time, put a little sense in the head of rhyme. If you watch him not, you will be at the back of him. Oh, who shall tell us the wrongs of rhyme? What witless savage or what deaf boy has made for us this two-penny toy whose bells ring hollow and out of time? Music always and music still, let your verse be the wandering thing that flutters in flight from a soul on the wing towards other skies at a new whim's will. Let your verse be the luck of the lure, afloat on the winds that at morning hint of the odors of time and the savour of mint. And all the rest is literature. Autumn Dirge by Paul Verlaine. Autumn begins with violence of lament, wounding my breast with dull oppressed discontent. Roused by the shocks of stricken clocks from pale sleep, I think upon sweet nights now gone, and I weep. And my heart flies down waiting skies in my grief, blown here and there as down night air the dead leaf. Autumn Song by Paul Verlaine. The long sobs of a violence of autumn wound my heart with a monotone languor, all breathless and pale. When the hour sounds, I remember former days and I cry. And I go in an ill wind which carries me here, there, like a dead leaf. Clair de Lune by Paul Verlaine. Your soul is a sealed garden, and there go, with mask and beggar mask, fair companies, playing on lutes and dancing, and as though sat under their fantastic fripperies. Though they in minor keys go caroling of love the conqueror and of life the boon, they seem to doubt the happiness they sing, and the song melts into the light of the moon. The sad light of the moon, so lovely fair, but all the birds dream in the leafy shade, and the slim fountains sob into the air among the marble statues in the glade. Colloque Sentimental by Paul Verlaine. In the old park, solitary and vast, over the frozen ground two forms once passed. Their lips were languid and their eyes were dead, and hardly could be heard the words they said. In the old park, solitary and vast, two ghosts once met to summon up the past. Do you remember our old ecstasy? Why would you bring it back again to me? Do you still dream as you dreamed long ago? Does your heart beat to my heart's beating? No. Ah, those old days, what joys have those days seen when your lips met my lips? It may have been. How blue the sky was, and our hope how light. Hope has flown helpless back into the night. They walked through weeds withered and grasses dead, and only the night heard the words they said. Colombine by Paul Verlaine. The foolish legenda, gape-covered Cassandra, and which is Pierrot? 'Tis he with the hop of a flea leaps the ditch, and Harlequin who rehearses anew his sly task with his dress that's a wonder, and eyes shining under his mask. Mi sol mi fa do. How gaily they go, and they sing and they laugh and they twirl round the feet of a girl like the spring. whose eyes are as green as a cat's are, and keen as its claws, and her eyes without frown bid all newcomers down with your paws. On they go with the force of the stars in their course and the speed. Oh, tell me toward what disaster unfold without heed, the implacable fear, a rose in her hair, holding up her skirts as she runs, leads the stance of the dance and the dew. Cortege by Paul Verlaine. A silver-vested monkey trips and pirouettes before the face of one who twists a kerchief's lace between her well-gloved fingertips. A red elf carries her dropping train and holds at arm's length all the heavy folds, watching each fold displace itself. The monkey never lets his eyes wander from the fair woman's breast, wide wonder that to be possessed would call a god out of the skies. Sometimes the little seems to lift his sumptuous burden up, higher than need be, in the hope of seeing what all night he dreams. She goes by corridor and stair, still to the insolent appeals of her familiar animals, indifferent or unaware. Cythere by Paul Verlaine. By favourable breezes fend, a trellised harbour is at hand to shield us from the summer airs. The scent of roses, fainting sweet, afloat upon the summer heat, blends with the perfume that she wears. True to the promise her eyes gave, she ventures all, and her mouth rains a dainty fever through my veins. And love fulfilling all things save hunger, we escape with sweets and ices the folly of love's sacrifices. Dans la Grotte by Paul Verlaine. Stay, let me die, since I am true, for my distress will not delay, and the Hyrcanian tigress, ravening for prey, is as a little lamb to you. Yes, here within, cruel Clymene, this steel which in how many wars, how many Osiris slew, or Scipio now prepares to end my life and end my pain. But nigh, what need of steel have I to haste my passage to the shades? Did not love pierce my heart beyond all mortal aids with the first arrow of your eye? En Bateau by Paul Verlaine. The shepherd's star with trembling glint drops in black water. At the hint the pilot fumbles for his flint. Now is the time or never, sirs, no hand that wanders wisely errs. I touch a hand, and is it hers? The nightly atice strikes the strings, and to the faithless chorus flings a look that speaks of many things. The abbé has absolved again, Eglay, the viscount all in vain, has given his hasty heart the rein. Meanwhile the moon is up and streams upon the skiff that flies and seems to float upon a tide of dreams. En Patinant by Paul Verlaine. We were the victims, you and I, Madame, of mutual self-deceits, and that which set our brains awry may well have been the summer heats, and the spring too, if I recall, contributed to spoil our play, and yet its share, I think, was small in leading you and me astray. For air in springtime is so fresh that Rosebud's love has surely meant to match the roses of the flesh, have odors almost innocent. And even the lilies that outpour their biting odors where the sun is new in heaven do but the more enliven and enlighten one, so stealthily as the fire blows, a mocking breath that renders back the heart's rest and the soul's repose, and the flowers aphrodisiac. And the five senses, peeping out, take up their station at the feast, but being by themselves, without troubling the reason in the least. That was the time of azure skies, Madame, do you remember it? And sonnets to my lady's eyes, and cautious kisses not too sweet. Free from all passion's idle power, full of mere kindliness. How long, how well we liked, not loved each other, without one rapture or one wrong. Ah, happy hours! But summer came. Farewell, fresh breezes of the spring. A wind of pleasure like a flame leapt on our senses wandering. Strange flowers, fair crimson-hearted flowers, poured their ripe odors over us, and evil voices of the hours whispered above us in the pause. We yielded to it all, Ami. What vertigo of fools held fast our senses in its ecstasy until the heat of summer passed. There were vain tears and vainer laughter, and hands indefinitely pressed, moist sadnesses and swoonings after, and what vague void within the breast. But autumn came to our relief. Its light grown cold, its gusts grown rough, came to remind us sharp and brief that we had wantoned long enough, and led us quickly to recover the elegance demanded of every quiet, irreproachable lover and every seemly lady love. Now it is winter, and alas, our beckers tremble for their stake. Already other sledges pass and leave us toiling in their wake. Put both your hands into your muff. Sit back now, steady. Off we go. Fanchon will tell us soon enough whatever news there is to know. On Sourdine by Paul Verlaine. Come where twilight leaves have stilled with their shadow, light and sound. Let our silent love be filled with a silence as profound. Let our ravished senses blend heart and spirit, thine and mine, with vague languors that descend from the branches of the pine. Close thine eyes against the day, fold thine arms across thy breast, and forever turn away all desire of all but rest. Let the lulling breaths that pass in soft wrinkles at thy feet, tossing all the tawny grass, this and only this repeat. And when solemn evening dims the forest's dusky air, then the nightingale shall sing the delight of our despair. Fairer is the sea by Paul Verlaine. Fairer is the sea than the minister high. Faithful nurse is she, and last lullaby, and the virgin prays over the sea's ways. Gifts of grief and guerdons from her bounty come, and I hear her pardons chide her anger's home. Nothing is her is unforgiveness. She is piteous, she the perilous. Friendly things to us, the wave sings to us. You whose hope is past, here is peace at last. And beneath the skies, brighter hued than they, she has azure dyes, rose and green and grey. Better is the sea than all fair things or we. Fantoches by Paul Verlaine. Scaramouche waves a threatening hand to Pulcinella, and they stand, two shadows black against the moon. The old doctor of Bologna reads for simples with impassive eyes and mutters o'er a magic rune. The while his daughter, scarce half-dressed, glides slyly 'neath the trees in quest of her bold pirate lover's same. Her pirate from the Spanish main, whose passion thrills her in the pain of the loud, languorous nightingale. I divine through the veil of a murmuring by Paul Verlaine. I divine through the veil of a murmuring the subtle contour of voices gone, and I see in the glimmering lights that sing the promise pale laugh of a future dawn. And my soul and my heart in trouble, what are they but an eye that sees, as through a mist an eye sees double, heirs forgotten of songs like these? Oh, to die of no other dying love than this that computes the showers of old hours and of new hours flying. Oh, to die of the swing of the hours. Impression Fausse by Paul Verlaine. Little Lady Mouse, black upon the grey of light. Little Lady Mouse, grey upon the night. Now they ring the bell, all good prisoners slumber deep. Now they ring the bell, nothing now but sleep. Only pleasant dreams, laughs enough for thinking of, only pleasant dreams, long live love. Moonlight over all, someone snoring heavily. Moonlight over all in reality. Now there comes a cloud, it is dark as midnight here. Now there comes a cloud, dawn begins to peer. Little Lady Mouse, rosy in a ray of blue. Little Lady Mouse, up now all of you. Allee by Paul Verlaine. As in the age of shepherd, king and queens, painted and frail amid her nodding boughs, under the sombre branches and between the green and mossy garden ways she goes, with little menacing airs one keeps to pet a darling and provoking paroquet. Her long trained robe is blue, the fan she holds with fluent fingers girt with heavy rings, so vaguely hints of vague erotic things that her eye smiles, musing among its folds. Blonde too, a tiny nose, a rosy mouth, artful as that sly patch that makes more sly, in her divine unconscious pride of youth, the slightly simpering sparkle of the eye. L'amour par terre by Paul Verlaine. The other night a sudden wind laid low the laugh, shooting an arrow at a mark in the mysterious corner of the park, whose smile disquieted us long ago. The wind has overthrown him, and above his scattered dust, how sad it is to spell the artist's name still faintly visible upon the pedestal without its love. How sad it is to see the pedestal still standing as in a dream I seem to hear prophetic voices whisper in my ear the lonely and despairing end of all. How sad it is, why even you have found a tear for it, although your frivolous eye laughs at the gold and purple butterfly poised on the hideous litter on the ground. Les Faunes by Paul Verlaine. An aged faun of old red clay laughs from the grassy bowling green, foretelling doubtless some decay of mortal moments so serene, that lead us lightly on our way. Love's piteous pilgrims have we been, to this last hour that runs away dancing to the tambourine. Les Coquillages by Paul Verlaine. Each shell incrusted in the grotte where we two loved each other well, an aspect of its own has got. The purple of a purple shell is our soul's color when they make our burning heart's blood visible. This pallid shell affects to take violent course when thy love-tired eyes rebuke me for my mockery's sake. This counterfeits the harmonies of thy pink ear, and this might be thy plump short nape with rosy eyes. But one among these troubled me. Les Indolents by Paul Verlaine. Bah, spite of fate that says us nigh, suppose we die together, eh? A rare conclusion you discover. What rare is good, let us die so, like lovers in Boccaccio. Ah ha ha, you fantastic lover. Nay, not fantastic, if you will, fond, surely, irreproachable. Suppose then that we die together. Good sir, your jests are fitlier told than when you speak of love or gold. Why speak at all in this glad weather? Whereat behold them once again, Dirces beside his dormi, not far from two blithe rustic rovers, for some caprice of idle breath, deferring a delicious death. Ha ha ha, what fantastic lovers. Les Ingenus by Paul Verlaine. High heels and long skirts intercepting them, so that according to the wind or way, an ankle peeped and vanished as in play, and well we laughed the malice of the game. Sometimes an insect with its jealous sting some fair one's whiter neck disquieted, from which the gleams of sudden whiteness shed met in our eyes a frolic welcoming. The stealthy autumn evening faded out, and the fair creatures dreaming by our side, words of such subtle savour to us sighed, that since that time our souls tremble and doubt. Lettre by Paul Verlaine. Far from your sight, removed by thankless cares, the gods are witness when a lover swears, I languish and I die, madam, as still my use is, which I punctually fulfill, and go, through heavy-hearted woes conveyed, attend ever by your lovely shade, by day informed, by night in dreams of hell, and day and night, madam, adorable, so that at length my dwindling body lost in very soul, I too become a ghost, I too, and in the lamentable stress of vain desires, remembering happiness, remembered kisses, now alas unfelt, my shadow shall into your shadow melt. Meanwhile, dearest, your most obedient slave. How does the sweet society behave by cat, by dog, by parrot, and is she still, as of old, the black-eyed Sylvanie? I had laughed, black eyes if mine had not been blue, who ogled me at moments palsambleu. Thy tender friend and thy sweet confinement. One dream there is, madam, long wont to haunt this too impatient heart, to pour the earth and all its treasures of how little worth before your feet as tokens of a love equal to the most famous flames that move the hearts of men to conquer all but death. Cleopatra was less loved, yes, on my faith, by Antony or Caesar than you are, madam, by me, who truly would be far outdo the deeds of Caesar for a smile, O Cleopatra, queen of word and wile, or for a kiss, take flight with Antony. With this, farewell, dear, and no more from me. Or can the time it takes to read it quite be worth the trouble that it took to write? Mandoline by Paul Verlaine. The singers of serenades whisper their faded vows unto fair listening maids under the singing boughs. Tierces, Aminte are there. Cythere has waited long, and Demis for many a fair tyrant makes many a song. Their short vests, silken and bright, their long pale silken trains, their elegance of delight, twine soft blue silken chains. And the mandolins and they, faintly breathing, swoon into the rose and grey ecstasy of the moon. Mezzetin Chantant by Paul Verlaine. Go, and with never a care but the care to keep happiness. Crumple a silken dress and snatch a song in the air. Hear the moral of all the wise in a world where happy folly is wiser than melancholy. Forget the hour as it flies. The one thing needful on earth, it is not to be whimpering. Is life after all a thing real enough to be worth it? Oh, sad, sad was my soul, alas, by Paul Verlaine. Oh, sad, sad was my soul, alas, for a woman's sake it was. I have had no comfort since that day, although my heart went its way. Although my heart and my soul went from the woman into banishment. I have had no comfort since that day, although my heart went its way. And my heart, being sore in me, said to my soul, how can this be? How can this be, or have been thus, this proud, sad banishment of us? My soul said to my heart, do I know what snare we are tangled by? Seeing that banished, we know not whether we are divided or together. Pale dawn delicately by Paul Verlaine. Pale dawn delicately over earth has spun the sad melancholy of the setting sun. Sad melancholy brings oblivion in sad songs to me with the setting sun. And the strangest dreams, dreams like suns that set on the banks of the streams, ghost and glory met, to my sense it seems pass, and without a let, like great suns that set on the banks of streams. Pantomime by Paul Verlaine. Pierrot, now sentimental swain, washes are Pathé down again, with furtive lagoons, white and red. Cassandre, with demure content, greets with a tear of sentiment his nephew disinherited. That blackguard of a harlequin pirouettes and plots to win his Colombine that flits and flies. Colombine dreams and starts to find a sad heart sighing in the wind, and in her heart a voice that sighs. Pierrot the Urchin by Paul Verlaine. This is not Pierrot on the green, vague Pierrot, sporting half unseen. 'Tis Pierrot, 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 Pierrot the Urchin, madcap he, stripped of his mask and mimicry. Ah, Pierrot, Pierrot, Pierrot. Although no bigger than a meat, the rascal's eyes are all alight. With sparks of steel they are flaming. They dance with demon lights, it seems. They leap with sudden, scornful gleams for a gay poet's shaming. Lips red as wounds, whose scarlet wood is slumberous luxury's redoubt. Face fair as lilies, leaning and splendid, although somewhat wan. Such a face as loves to gaze upon the golden things and shining. Subtle and lithe his girlish form, voice soft and, like a woman's, warm. Mature his form, though elfish. His thrilling tone, his raiment gay, proclaim a lover seeking aye to sate each pleasure selfish. Go, brother comrade, where they team, and play the devil, seek thy dream, where'er thou wilt, thy pirouettes, and be the soul, unscrupulous, high, noble, lively, infamous of these our simple spirits. Grow, scapegrace, others are not shy, thy bitter riches multiply, and hence thy reputation, thy virtue, and thy people's love. Thy grimace is the symbol of our simple congregation. Slumber dark and deep by Paul Verlaine. Slumber dark and deep falls across my life. I will put to sleep hope, desire, and strife. All things pass away. Good and evil seem to my soul today nothing but a dream. I, a cradle laid in a hollow cave, by a great hand swayed, silence like the grave. Spleen by Paul Verlaine. The roses were all red, the ivy was all black. Dear, if you turn your head, all my despairs come back. The sky was too blue, too kind, the sea too green, and the air too calm. And now in my mind I shall wake and not find you there. I am tired of the box trees' shine and the hollies that never will pass, and the plain's unending line, and of all but you, alas. Streets by Paul Verlaine. Dance the jig. I loved best her pretty eyes, clearer than stars in any skies. I loved her eyes for their dear lies. Dance the jig. And the ways she had of driving a poor lover mad. It made a man's heart sad and glad. Dance the jig. But now I find the old kisses shed from her flower mouth a rarer red, now that her heart is mine, is dead. Dance fatigue. And I recall, now I recall, older days and hours, and ever shall, and that is best, and best of all, dance fatigue. Sur L Herbe by Paul Verlaine. The ever wonders. Marquis, now set straight your wick and speak. This Cyprus wine is heavenly, how much less Camargo than your cheek. My goddess, do me solace, obey such treason, who'll forgive you? May I die, ladies, if there be a star in heaven I will not give you. I'd be my lady's lapdog then. Shepherdess, kiss your shepherd soon. Shepherd, come kiss. Well, gentlemen, do me so. Hey, good night, good moon. Tears in my heart that weeps by Paul Verlaine. Tears in my heart that weeps like the rain upon the town. What drowsy languor steeps in tears my heart that weeps. O sweet sound of the rain on earth and on the roofs, for a heart's weary pain, O the song of the rain. Vain tears, my heart, what none have done thee wrong? Tears without a reason start from my disheartened heart. This is the veriest woe, O heart, of love and hate, too weary not to know why thou hast all this woe. The body's sadness and the languor thereof, by Paul Verlaine. The body's sadness and the languor thereof melt and bow me with pity till I could weep. Ah, when the dark hours break down in sleep, and the bedclothes score the skin and the hot hands move, alert for a little while the fever of day, damp still with the heavy sweat of the night that has thinned, like a bird that trembles on a roof in the wind, and the feet that are sorrowful because of the way, and the breast that a hand has scarred with the double blow, and the mouth that as an open wound is red, and the flesh that shivers and is a painted show, and the eyes, poor eyes so lovely with tears unshed, for the sorrow of seeing this also over and done. Sad body, how weakened, how punished under the sun. The Fireside the Lamp's little narrow light by Paul Verlaine. The fireside, the lamp's little narrow light, the dream with head on hand, and the delight of eyes that lose themselves in loving looks, the hour of steaming tea and of shut books, the solace to know evening almost gone, the dainty weariness of waiting on the nuptial shadow on night's softest bliss. Ah, it is this that without respite, this that without stay, my tender fancy seeks, mad with the months and furious with the weeks. The hands I loved, the lovely hands by Paul Verlaine. The little hands that once were mine, the hands I loved, the lovely hands. After the roadways and the strands, and the realms and kingdoms once divine, and mortal loss of all that seems lost with the old sad pagan things, royal as in the days of kings, the dear hands open to my dreams. Hands of dream, hands of holy flame, upon my soul in blessing laid, what is it that these hands have said, that my soul hears and swoons to them? Is it a phantom with pure sight of mother's love made tenderer, of spirit with spirit linked to share the mutual kinship of delight? Good sorrow, dear remorse, and ye, blessed dreams or hands ordained of heaven, to tell me if I am forgiven, make but the sign that pardons me. There's a flight of green and red by Paul Verlaine. There's a flight of green and red in the hurry of hills and rails, through the shadowy twilight shed by the lamps as daylight pales. Dim gold light flushes to blood in humble hollows far down. Birds sing low from a wood of barren trees without crown. Scarcely more to be felt than that autumn is gone. Languors lulled in me melt in the still air's monotone. They were at play, she and her cat, by Paul Verlaine. They were at play, she and her cat, and it was marvelous to mark the white paw and the white hand pet each other in the deepening dark. The stealthy little lady hid under her mitten's silken sheath, her deadly agate nails that thrid the silk like dagger points of death. The cat purred primely and drew in her claws that were of steel filled thing. The devil was in it all the same. And in the boudoir, while a shout of laughter in the air rang out, 4 sparks of phosphor shone like flame. Thou hast wounded me with love, by Paul Verlaine. O my God, thou hast wounded me with love. Behold the wound that is still vibrating. O my God, thou hast wounded me with love. O my God, thy fear hath fallen upon me. Behold, the burn is there, and it throbs aloud. O my God, thy fear hath fallen upon me. O my God, I have known that all is vile, and that thy glory hath stationed itself on me. O my God, I have known that all is vile. Drown my soul in floods, floods of thy wine. Mingle my life with the body of thy bread. Drown my soul in floods, floods of thy wine. Take my blood that I have not poured out. Take my flesh unworthy of suffering. Take my blood that I have not poured out. Take my brow that has only learned to blush, to be the footstool of thine adorable feet. Take my brow that has only learned to blush. Take my hands because they have labored not, for coals of fire and for rare frankincense. Take my hands because they have labored not. Take my heart that has beaten for vain things, to throb under the thorns of Calvary. Take my heart that has beaten for vain things. Take my feet, frivolous travelers, that they may run to the crying of thy grace. Take my feet, frivolous travelers. Take my voice, a harsh and lying noise, for the reproaches of thy penitence. Take my voice, a harsh and lying noise. Take mine eyes, luminaries of deceit, that they may be extinguished in the tears of prayer. Take mine eyes, luminaries of deceit. Alas, thou God of pardon and promises, what is the pit of mine ingratitude? Alas, thou God of pardon and promises, God of terror and God of holiness, alas, my sinfulness is a black abyss, God of terror and God of holiness. Thou God of peace, of joy and delight, all my tears, all my ignorances, thou God of peace, of joy and delight. Thou, O God, knowest all this, how poor I am, purer than any man. Thou, O God, knowest all this, all this. And what I have, my God, I give to thee. 'Tis the Ecstasy of Repose by Paul Verlaine. 'Tis the ecstasy of repose. 'Tis love when tired lids close. 'Tis the woods long shuddering in the embrace of the wind. 'Tis where grey boughs are thinned, little voices that sing. Oh, fresh and frail is the sound that twitters above, around, like the sweet tiny sigh that lies in the shaken grass, or the sound when waters pass and the pebbles shrink and cry. What soul is this that complains over the sleeping plains? And what is it that is safe? Is it mine? Is it the vine? This lowly hymn I divine in the warm night lowers a breath. Wearily the plain's endless length expands by Paul Verlaine. Wearily the plain's endless length expands. The snow shines like grains of the shifting sands. Light of day is none, brazen is the sky. Overhead the moon seems to live and die. Where the woods are seen, grey the oak trees lift through the vaporous screen like the clouds that drift. Light of day is none, brazen is the sky. Overhead the moon seems to live and die. Broken winded crow, and you lean wolves when the sharp north winds blow, what do you do then? Verily the plain's endless length expands. The snow shines like grains of the shifting sands. When a sighing begins in the violence by Paul Verlaine. When a sighing begins in the violence of the autumn song, my heart is drowned in the slow sound, languorous and long. Pale as the pain, breath fails me when the hour tolls deep. My thoughts recover the days that are over, and I weep. And I go where the winds now, broken and brief, to and fro, as the winds blow a dead leaf. When we go together by Paul Verlaine. When we go together, if I may see her again, into the dark wood and the rain, when we are drunken with air and the sun's delight, at the brink of the river of light, when we are homeless at last, for a moment's space without city or abiding place, and if the slow goodwill of the world still seem to cradle us in a dream, then let us sleep the last sleep with no leave-taking, and God will see to the waking. You believe that there may be, by Paul Verlaine. You believe that there may be luck in strangers in the tea. I believe only in your eyes. You believe in fairy tales. Days one wins and days one fails. I believe only in your lies. You believe in heavenly powers, in some saint to whom one prays, or in some ave that one says. I believe only in the hours colored with the rosy lights you rain from me on sleepless nights. And so firmly I receive these foot roof that I believe that only for your sake I live.